Kablooey. Welcome, everyone. We are back in action. It is Thursday again, and this is the B2B Growth Lab. Rob and I are here today to talk about friction in your operating system. Oh my God, I'm going to love this one. Your tools are slowing your team down. Sales enablement, yeah, that's a part of it. Tech stack, yes. Workflow optimization. What's a workflow? A bloated, disconnected tech stack or a giant stack of Post-it notes and pen and paper, neither of them work. They're not functional. It might be comfortable, but that, my friend, is Stockholm Syndrome. It is just something you've gotten used to, not something that is good for you. Clunky CRMs, redundant tools, manual processes, that credit card bill that has 8 software subscriptions you haven't logged into in 3, 6, 9 months. All of this stuff is dragging you down. Even the stuff that you're not checking in with is still creating some sort of operational drag in the back of your brain. And then manual processes will frustrate your team, leave them in a mystery loop.
Yes.
All of it drains productivity. In fact, we can't even call it productivity at this point. It's just pure drain.
The waste of labor is real.
Yes. Yeah. And confusion is the biggest waste.
Oh.
In this tactical session, we're going to break down how to audit, streamline, centralize your tech to talk about workflows that support growth instead of blocking it like a brick wall. We're going to talk about spotting bottlenecks before they burn you out, consolidating systems for simplicity and speed, automating processes without losing the human touch. We can actually become more human with automation, trust me. And how to future-proof your entire stack. That's something we're working on a daily basis. Where do you want to start pulling this one apart?
Oh, I have a fun horror story.
Perfect.
That's a good place to start. So I'll keep the company name out of this so lawyers don't show up. But let's just say a very large pharmaceutical company that I worked for had 32 instances of the same LMS across their 5 divisions. And as their human capital management system, they had Workday. Now, I'll give you one guess how many integrations they had between said list of people who work there and learning management systems. Keep going.
1.
Keep going.
2.
0 integrations. Not one API feed. So what happened every single Monday, 52 weeks a year? 200 administrators.
I forgot my password.
200 administrators sat down at their desk Monday morning and hard key punched all the hires and fires from the prior Friday and that Monday morning. And it took them 2 hours to each process their batch, right? So it's 400 hours of labor every single week, 52 weeks a year. It made my head hurt.
Sounds like one full-time employee worth of salary.
FTE. It's more than 1 FTE in total, right? It's like 80,000 hours. It's so outrageous. Let's just do the math right now, right? Like,
okay,
400 times 52 is 20,000. Yeah. So it's 10 FTEs. $10 FTEs. Let's just call them 100 grand to crack, right? That's $1 million.
$1 million of revenue leak.
So I said, if you just give me it's probably 20 to 40K for some third-party consulting to do the API integration. We'll just do one-way data feed push. It's not that complicated. And we'll get you a 10x ROI in less than 6 months. And they're like, Rob, stop thinking like the chief learning officer.
Can we do a little bit more math for a second?
Okay.
A little bit more math?
Yeah.
Okay. So $1 million of wasted time is an expense because you're paying your employees.
Right.
Okay. So that means you have to make an extra $1 million to pay them. Now, how much does it cost to make that extra $1 million? Another 300,000 or so.
Their absolute margins weren't that high. It was probably more than that.
Oh, okay. So it costs an extra $650,000 to make the $1 million that you're throwing in the fire.
Right.
This is where I love getting in the weeds, because I dropped a statement twice in the intro about how it's more expensive than you think, but it is more expensive than you think.
Yes. Yes. And it's cheaper than you think to fix it.
Yes. Yes. Throwing that Benji on that campfire, just remember you had to drive 47 miles to get to where the campfire is. Right? Like, this is what's going on inside of
the whole journey, right?
Yes.
Full on depreciation of the cost of that vehicle. Your travel cost, at least in my last vehicle, was 65 cents a mile. So the answer is yes, it costs more than you think.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. So across the customer journey, we have leads, conversion, sales, onboarding, and fulfillment.
Right.
And if there's a system, a process for people who are responsible for leads, and you're muddying that, right? Then again, the expense of the friction and the poor systems and the cognitive overload and the context switching and the cost of mistakes and can mean that $1 lead cost actually costs you, let's stick with that other number, 1.5 or 1.6 more than you think. And again, if you don't have a plan to take $1 of lead and turn it into $3 in the first place, with a smooth operation, then we're getting pretty close to break even. And you haven't paid for the conversion costs, and you haven't paid for the sales costs, and you haven't closed the 30% attrition and onboarding. And so this is how companies drive themselves out of existence operationally. Right. Just by adding one more expense to every step of the customer journey, while confusing, frightening, and annoying the people inside of that customer journey as well.
They're relying on the people in their business to overcome their lack of proper configuration, integration, and implementation.
I did an enterprise scope in the leads bucket in Q4 last year. I was invited into this little working group. These other consultants were like, he's a nice guy, he's smart, we'll bring him in. So I was one of the three. We were talking through this stuff in the back room. They had 9 pieces of technology to do their lead generation. The cost for the stuff was $1.3 million a year, and they're getting 30% of that back. So it was not breaking even for those of you like me, too lazy to do math. That is not positive or profitable. Your lead generation is costing more than the results from the
extra not.
And then our running joke was that since these 3 platforms are redundant, we could give a high return in a short period of time by just saying, cancel those 3 subscriptions. Like that's the consulting bar. cancel these subscriptions. Have a nice day. Send the check to this location.
Right, right.
Oh, look, you saved $387,000 this year.
It is sadly that simple sometimes. Just you don't know what in your tech stack isn't being used. As you get bigger, that bloat stuff gets hidden.
Yes.
And it just becomes an anchor. It's just sucking the cash out of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a quarterly review. Every single quarter, we go line item by line item for every software subscription.
Yep.
And it's not even a question. If it hasn't been logged into the last 30 days, it is just immediately canceled.
Yep.
Because again, you don't even need to think. There's no platform I've ever had where I felt penalized for coming back 3 months later and then relaunching. They are more than happy to start you on a new subscription.
That's right.
The boxes are simple. My password software, copy and paste my credit card in there. I don't even have to think anymore. And thank God all the SaaS companies that used to hide the cancel your subscription button seem to have gone out of business.
Or they are pretty quickly, right? That's happening.
That was like a 3 to 5 years ago conversation, but I can't believe how many angry emails I had to send. I'm just like, you guys, it was so easy to pay you and impossible to leave. What is wrong with you?
Right.
All right, so that's leads. Conversion. How is money wasted there? Not knowing what conversion is, not believing in its existence, not having any data about how to convert, not collecting all the wonderful things that do conversion, like testimonials, case studies, what ifs, attaboys. And there is such a wide variety of things that you can do to enable people to know if moving ahead with you is the right choice for them right now, the right choice in the future, or a mistake they made filling out that opt-in form. Congratulations, your headline was a winner. Most people don't put enough thought into their conversion that, like, telling you to cancel subscriptions for stuff, or it's a redundant statement at this point, because I find it is severely overlooked. Sales enablement. A lot of people find sales challenging. A lot of people are fearful of sales. I think one of the things we do to escape real skill development, practice, and that kind of stuff is buy something in the scroll that will solve all your sales problems for us some way, somehow. How would you fix that stuff?
People increasingly want to talk to people, right? Even though no one likes being sold to, they do want to talk to people, and talk to people who will empathize, listen to their pain, solve their problem. And then we're back to the whole purpose of this discussion. Put said notes in your system, assign next steps, tasks, and timing, right? Like, until you get to closed won or closed lost, you still got something to do. So make sure that something is captured, that we have continuity, right? If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, someone can pick it up, right? So yeah, set some dates, and good systems will comb through all your opportunities and hand you a list. Here's your 10 things to do today, right? If you build it right, you no longer have to hunt. You don't have to comb through your 600 plus, 1,000 plus prospects. You don't have to just drink coffee and think about who I'm going to call today. If you're doing it right, that list gets served up to you in the morning, and you just go do it.
I completely agree. And one of my favorite, and it's okay to be manual here. If you don't have a system, if you're not ready or willing to configure a CRM or sit down and spend an entire quarter mapping things out properly so that the next 5 years run smoothly, let's go back to the spreadsheet for the minute. One of the best things I ever learned, we had a CRM from day one, but every quarter go back to the bottom and work it. Do a calendar sweep. Go back. Like, calendars are great. They never forget. You can log into your Google, go back to January 1st this year, scroll through every single name of every single meeting. And if you haven't touched that person, if you can't find them in your CRM or your process, and if you can find them and you can't find the note where they said, leave me alone, never talk to me again, do another touch. Just a touch. It doesn't have to be a buy for me, but just like, hey, how's it going? Have you solved problem X? We have a 15% conversion rate of voice AI doing this. Of it just simply asking, have you found a solution for X yet? Now, we've gotten good enough at putting what X is next to each client, so it knows how to ask that question with relevance. But I promise everybody listening, as much as we avoid this stuff, it's probably one of the things that is most worth doing.
What else gets you a 15% close rate with that amount of lift? Nothing. And people are people. I think we all suffer from this weird imposter syndrome stuff of like, I have a business, it provides a service, but if I remind people of my service, I'm annoying them. But the fact is, trust me, they don't remember you, because 2 weeks or 2 months have gone by and like, you're so far back in their brain. We did do a calendar sweep, actually. We did it in Q1 this year, and I had reconnection calls from Q3 and 4 last year pumped into the first quarter. Thank you, team, for me not having to do that. Right.
I can talk more than once about having these people in their imagination. It was the first call. We'd never met before, and it was like 7 to 10 minutes in where they're like, oh, I remember you.
Isn't that funny how you can see that point? You can see that moment happen. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And we're busy telling ourselves I'm bothering them. It's like, trust me, they don't even remember who you are. So I don't know. That's the easiest way to talk to yourself out of something that isn't true.
Open with kindness, open with generosity, right? Like, don't just you're not annoying if you're being charitable. Hey, this new report on the state of workplace well-being just came out. I thought you might be interested. It's attached. Right?
Absolutely.
Reciprocity psychology. That's a thing. Oh yeah. I've been meaning to schedule time with him to talk about Resilience Builder. Yeah.
Very well said.
Yeah.
And then on the call, those magic little CRM notes. How are you? How'd that project go? Is the dog happy? Right? Like, it took 2 minutes after the last call, or 0 with the note taker, but just to have that stuff present and kind of reconnect. More reciprocity, like you're saying.
Yeah, and if you're going to do it, I'm going tomorrow to a live networking thing, right? And I go with an open mind, but also fully prepped for the 2 specific follow-ups I need to do, right? With printouts in hand, something to give, right? Charitably, right? A takeaway, printed business card attached, right? Like, workplace well-being report goes this way, right? Other materials go this way, right? But it's not going to be, hey, Captain, did you do the thing I asked you to do? No, because he's the ops commander for the base, right? He's probably not thinking of me, right? So it sounds more like, hey, Steve, how are your cats?
Yes.
Right? Like,
Bingo.
Because he's got a wife and cats, no kids, and he's 2 years to retirement. He's a Navy captain, right? He's an 06, right? He's not. Just call him Steve. He just wants to be Steve. He spends all damn day being captain, right? Just Steve. Be a human.
And the same case in point, he's not an idiot either.
Right.
But my God, it's great when your follow-up is congenial and friendly and opening the door, right? Right? Instead of, the sample being pushed into his nose.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, how's your cats? I was thinking of you. I might have been a little vague last time I was here. So, here's a little packet of info that you could just pass on to, the person. You don't have to read it, right? Knowing good and well, he probably will, but that's fine too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then the other guy I need to follow up with, his name's Matt, about a whole different thing. But it's not, hey, Matt, what did you do about the thing I asked you to do? It's, hey, Matt, have you smoked any meat lately?
Right.
Because he's a barbecue guy, right?
Right.
So, yeah, meet them where they are. Be human before you're trying to lever or sell. No one wants to be sold to, right? Work your way into it.
Absolutely. And on the core level here, I was in a meeting earlier today doing a presentation to a larger group, so this is still top of mind. But there were some very pointed questions in there about technology. And, we're just talking about technology, we're just talking about CRM, we're just talking about notes and tracking, that kind of stuff. If you don't know how to do fancy workflows and configure automations and that kind of stuff, that's okay. Contact-based and notes is a great place to start.
Right.
This is why 55% of CRM implementations fail to this day, 25 years of them being in existence. And it's because I think people try to get too complicated too fast. They get sold on the fantasy of how magical it is.
Right.
And they forget the common day-to-day baseline things that it's for, right? It's managing contact information.
It does take work to build that. You don't buy software, flip it on, and it does what you want it to do. You have to implement it. You have to design your workflow. You got to if, and else. And it takes work, right? You got to build it. And before you can build it, you got to know what your workflow is, or at least what you want it to be.
Thank you. That's kind of my point. Like, you get a basic thing and you manage your contacts in it, and you get enough of a process that you're just like, damn, I have these 6 steps. I wish somebody could help me automate them.
Right.
I promise you how much easier it is to automate them once we know what those steps are.
Right.
Right. The answer to that question is always yes.
Right.
The make it work for me, right? That cues the very next question, which is how ... What are you trying to accomplish? So that is probably the biggest tech bottleneck I have ever seen, is stuff bought without a purpose, acquired without a problem it's meant to solve, and therefore it just kind of hangs because nobody knows what to do with it.
Technically inept, fearful, I worked for I don't even want to say leader, a person who, when I invited my AI note taker to the meeting, she said, "What is that?" And I said, "It's a note taker." "Oh, get that out of here. I hate those." What? What? We at least need to take notes and action items, right? Why would we not do that? Levering technology, right?
Unless it was the CEO of a Zen monastery who's like, no notes, we're here to just be present, commence not talking for the next hour, right? Then no note taker is appropriate.
Right.
But yeah, if there's anything you're trying to move forward at all, like they are a godsend when you do the craziest thing in the world, look at it after the meeting.
Right.
And figure out what to do with that stuff, or automate it, pipe it in somewhere, right? All those things. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Schedule meetings for 45 minutes, 15 minutes. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very well said. And honestly, that's what most meetings are for, right? I love the 80% planning, 20% implementation. And so exactly the way you fractioned it, Rob, like 30 minutes of what should we do? Where are we stuck? What's going on? What needs to be done next? And then 15 minutes lining those next steps up. And the tools have gotten pretty good at it. Like you don't even have to name drop which one does it. They all do a pretty good job of summarizing. And then it can even think well enough to be like, this is the most likely sequence for those things to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Absolutely.
It's no longer hard.
No. But I will say one of the big concerns is how tech enablement and tech fascination specifically, because enablement, you usually have to sit down and figure out how to make the thing do something. But the fascination tends to really start diluting because it's one tool after another, after another, after another, with no real purpose. So like, where do we want this information to go? And how do we want it to turn into action?
Yeah, you can get lost in the how and lose sight of the why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my least favorite thing about conversational apps. Too. Like they tend to go kind of sideways into the chatty space and not into the like, here's the cadence to complete a project.
Yeah. Yeah, we could fill a whole nother hour with what's wrong with the current LLM configuration, but that's a different hour.
Yeah. That's a whole quarter. Absolutely. All right. Automating processes without losing the human touch. Believe it or not, this is just my opinion, but if you show up to a meeting, a call, a planning session, a face-to-face, well prepared, knowing what the next steps are, have the ability to fact check them, look for clarification on details 2, 4, and 7. That clean agenda reduces a 30-minute meeting down to 10 minutes, which means you can spend the other 20 finding out how the cats are doing, figuring out what is going on. Like this is something I've really noticed with who I am dealing with about how effective the communication is. And some people, and I love them for it, they're not there to be social. I had a call with a client yesterday. How was your ski season? Terrible. Mine too. Why? We're both on the side of the continent. That was done. Step 1, step 2, step 3, agreed, high five, thank you. I'll send you the email tomorrow. He was in and out in 10 minutes of that 30-minute scheduled call.
Yeah.
And then I sent him the email this morning. I got a thank you back. Took time to make the space between the two words. We're done.
Uh-huh.
Operator. Right? And that's what's possible in my opinion, when you have that clean lines of what the action steps are, and you just want to make sure everyone agrees. So I don't know. I feel like he and I get along. We are happy. We like each other, and we feel like the amount of human that was supposed to be in there was the right amount for each person.
Right. Right. The amount of human was enough for both people. Right.
He spent as much time socializing with me as he wanted to.
Right.
And yeah, other people who want to socialize more. I mean, there was a 20-minute buffer there to do it, but I do really believe that as much as people seem anti-note taker, anti-automation, it does actually increase the human touch.
It allows you to be more present, right?
I think so.
I no longer need to be at my notepad, right? I can be right here the whole time.
Interrupting the flow. Wait, Rob, what was that thing you just said?
What are they doing in the medical world, right? This is one of the greatest implementations of automated note-taking that actually produces both better outcomes for physicians and for patients.
Brilliant.
Right?
Brilliant. Yeah. Very well said. And maybe the doctors start feeling like they have a tiny bit of bandwidth in those 7.5 minutes that they have to get into a consultation before they have to go to the room next door.
Oh, and it also makes them more efficient because they don't have to type everything in. They just need to audit, correct, and then submit. Yes, that too, more productive, right? Better for everyone involved.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a fantastic example. Thank you for that, because it is absolutely true.
The amount of synthesis that can also happen in a complementary way, right? So think of old episodes of House and the amount of diagnostics, right?
Right.
And the research and the amount of variety of things you need to synthesize based on what's presented in order to narrow it down and take a probabilistic view of what could be happening with this patient, right? Which test to recommend, right? AI is analytically better at that than almost every human being.
If I remember any of the formulas for the narrative, it was always 3 to 5 days of guessing in the wrong direction till right. So yeah, being able to shorten that,
right?
Yeah, shorten it to 24 hours. How much of a load will that take off the system?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's great promise in that domain.
Yes. Speaking of which, you kind of did a pin drop on the LLM thing. Future proofing your enablement stack. The one thing I can say that I know for certain right now is based on advice, best practices, people who are serving billion-dollar organizations, some of which I'm fortunate enough to train with, we are not interacting directly with LLMs anymore at all. Everything we build is on top of them so that you can plug and play the latest and greatest version of whatever underneath it and use its labor. That's my current understanding and advice on future proofing, because if you're married to the LLM, it's don't worry, it'll be out of fashion in 3 to 6 months.
Right. That's right.
And that's 2026 speaking. 2027, it'll be 3 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
And then by the time we're 2030, it'll probably be 3 to 5 hours that the next thing has come out. So don't get married to those.
Don't. Please don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's boatloads of people whose only interface with anything AI has been GPT, using it like Google.
Oh, yeah, as a search engine.
Right. That's the number one use case for it. Like we're well into the sub 1% realm.
Yeah.
For those of us who are doing, things like N8N Make and others, like meta processes leveraging AI assets and like CRM integration APIs, right? Like,
yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a sub 1% thing, because it's all, if you have the intellectual horsepower, it's all easy enough. And if you want it, but don't want to invest the horsepower in it, you call people like us.
Bring your complaints. They can be automated.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything you do more than twice can be automated.
Be intentional about your checkpoint in your automation.
Oh yeah, that's right? Our job. We don't want those people worrying about that, but yes, that is a key factor.
Yeah, put the human in at the end.
Yeah.
Right, like read it.
Oh yeah.
Right, proof the artwork. Right, like
yeah.
If it draws a car that looks like a cow, that's bad, right?
Correct. Don't publish. Yeah. Yeah, we have an 85% success rate with the 4-agent stack that writes our proposals. And we know that because of the 15% we correct every time before it goes out.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it get sharper over time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you build a feedback loop and train it, it does. But again, that's a thing that you have to check on first, because if you're going to correct it, you need to be able to explain why.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of that you want our friends to know, think, keep in mind?
Well, I think that the point you made about how fast it's moving, right? Like what has emerged in your ability to automate in the past year is enormous.
Yes.
So if you want it, but you can't or won't climb the learning curve, you feel ill-equipped, right? Right? Afraid, whatever's standing in your way. You just need the right partner to help you through it. And it's not as scary as it might seem. It's actually hyper logical.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. My favorite analogy in the subject is a car, because most of us have one and we know how to drive one. And there's 2 things you shouldn't do. And one of them is open the hood and stick your hands in while it's running. And the second is, if it's making a funny sound, stop and start pulling things out from under the hood. Just like trust the mechanic. Let us take care of that for you. You manage the following the speed limit and staying between the lines stuff, and we'll handle everything else for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. The time is now, right? It's a competitive advantage. The ROI is real.
It really is. Half the stuff we're building is paying for itself within 30 days.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. And have a great Thursday.
Awesome. Back at you, Jacob.